Welcome to another insightful episode of We Are Listening. I'm your host, Pulkit Garg, founder of Aanya Wellness. Today, we deep dive into the essence of self care, a concept that's often talked about but rarely practiced with true understanding. To kick things off, let me share a quick anecdote that beautifully underscores our topic. Imagine it's a bustling morning in the Hatton Garden, London. Among the myriad of jewelry craftsmen, one man stands out not just for his impeccable skill, but for his extraordinary resilience. This man, Neil Giller, realized the importance of self care the hard way. It was through a personal journey marked by his brother's struggles that Neil came to understand the profound impact of taking care of one's own mental and physical well being. And today, I'm thrilled to have Neil Giller with us all. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you very much. My mother always taught me when she used to collect me from friends to always turn around and say, "Thank you very much for having me." So, thank you very much for having me. And I want to put something else because no one else will, Paul Kit. But all jokes aside, thank you very much for having me. And thank you for the introduction. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Neil. My pleasure. I do have a long introduction written for you, but I would really appreciate, if you can share your introduction with our listeners, and then we can get on to, understanding your journey.
Let me just do a quick synopsis for you. I know that we've had conversations in the past. And again, thank you for allowing me the platform to share because this is really important. You know, your health is your wealth. That's the first nugget that I've got for everyone today. And without that, we cannot participate. This morning, I went out for a walk and some guy walked past me and said, "Good morning, how are you?" And I looked at him and I went, "I woke up this morning." And he started laughing, Pulkit. But if we can appreciate something as simple as that, the rest is just, it's little sprinkles on top of the ice cream. So you explained school and I didn't do very well together. Very, very quick synopsis. So I was thrown out of that and I was thrown into Hatton Garden, which is the main street that does the jewellery in the UK. It's world renowned. I was taught many things, legal and illegal. I was taught how to sell. I was taught how to treat people. I was taught how to be part of a team. My brother and I are very close. There's 11 months and 3 weeks difference. He's older than me. My
Mhm.
father's excuse is there wasn't a colour television at the time, Paul Kit. So we've always been very, very close. And my parents, who are probably referenced to quite a few times throughout this cast, they're just beautiful human beings. And I'm blessed that they chose me. I'm not adopted. I meant that, as I said. Well, I don't think I'm adopted, to be quite honest with you. Maybe I need to have a word with mum and dad about it. But for me, I've always been that caring, sharing human being. My mother recalls my first two friends. One had Down syndrome and another one had no hand and no foot. Now, I think it's because it made me look better. But on the contrary, it's because I've always wanted to help the lessers, and I don't mean that in what I've said there, but that's always the way it is. So when my mother opened up a business, it was a mailing house, putting pieces of paper into envelopes and print. She
Mhm.
screamed and shouted at my brother and I. We left both of our jobs, and I think it's called slave labour. We went and worked for near enough nothing, but it was the same nothing every single month. And we built a phenomenal business, dealing with local authorities, small to medium-sized enterprise, SMEs, blue chip companies. We weren't scared of going and looking for the work that was going to put food on our families and our staff's table. So we all got in there. Dad was there as well. My father was a black taxi driver, not black as in black, but black London taxi. There's a few things I needed to verify, but
Mhm. Mhm.
we're workers. My parents have always been of the volition that you work. I mean, when I got thrown out of school, my father sat me down that evening and said, "What do you plan on doing?" And I was like, "Well, I'll stay here and you can pay for me," kind of thing. The next day, he had me in the back of the cab and he took me down to Hatton Garden, and I wasn't allowed home until I got a job. Came back with three. So that gives you a rough idea of mum and dad and the setup. So we ran for about 10 years, and it was time for dad to be retired, which we did quite nicely. We just manoeuvred him, as we would call it. And about 3 years later, mother also departed, leaving myself as the chief whip, i.e. the person that was bringing all the business in, doing the quoting, looking after the clients, front-facing Pulkit. Whereas my brother who it will become apparent as we go through. He's a sufferer of mental health. He's a clinic depressive. So it's kind of like bipolar. You didn't know what you were working with one day to the next. So my brother and I took over the business. He dealt with everything behind, and I dealt with everything in front. Until one day he had we call it an episode, where he just broke down in the middle of the office. And at that point, I was going to sign a very large contract. And my mindset, Pulkit, was pull yourself together, which is very old school. Come on, snap out of it. Come on, you don't need to be there. And it's not the right way. It really isn't. And my journey's taught me that. So I went and signed the contract, came back. My brother, my best friend, my business partner wasn't there for me to celebrate with. And I think that was the first thing that kind of, there was a little niggle of, okay, I can feel kind of what he's feeling. Over the preceding 3 months, we were very busy, and without my brother, I had to do everything. And on the second, I'm smiling here. On the 2nd of December 2017, I woke up and I call it the black dog. The black dog visited. The depression kicked in. I felt something. I don't mind telling you. I felt really slow, lethargic, couldn't get out of my mind, couldn't get out my own way. But I really woke up and I was in trouble. And if it wasn't for my ex-wife and my mother that picked me up, got me dressed, literally picked me up and got me dressed and took me to the doctor, who was fantastic, I don't know what I would have done, because for the 3 days after that are the only 3 days in my life I've never wanted to participate in this beautiful world. And that's the darkest. If you've not been there, and I'm smiling here because some people call it a breakdown, Pulkit. I've worked out it's a breakthrough. So there's a mind switch set there, and it took me a while to get there. But went to the doctors. 3 days later, I went back to work because that's what was done. You worked. We got to Christmas. I sat for Christmas, phoned up mum on the 2nd of January and went, I'm done. And by April, we had shut the business down, distributed all the business so that we were still earning off of it. Meanwhile, my brother was sectioned. And for people that don't know what sectioning is, it's when someone is not of right mind and their next of kin have to decide everything from there forward. So we had to section him, put him into what we call a hospital. So he was languishing there whilst I was falling down. And then I thought, no, I can't have a business take my brother's life and or mine. We both got families. We both got our parents still. We both got a good life. We weren't short of anything. So it was time to shut that down and reinvent myself. And that's something that I speak to my clients quite a lot. You can reinvent yourself every single day. You don't have to wait to reinvent yourself. So I got this idea in my head that, seeing as I'd been there, seen it and done it, I went and did all my mental health courses. I spoke to a lot of people in mental health. I spoke to a lot of businesses in mental health. And you and I come together because we're part of the largest networking organisation in the world, which is BNI. So you know what? BNI's got a lot to answer for. They asked me to go and look after a certain region for them in the UK, which took me away and got me understanding people. So I then reinvented myself into what we call a mentor, a coach, whatever it is you want to call it. My clients call me different things, but as I do them, Pulkit. But that's my very quick synopsis, my journey. So I'm kind of doing what I do now for, number one, the most important person, which is me. And I'm doing it for every single business person out there that has ever struggled. And that'll be every single one of us that run our own business. So that was just a very quick 25 minutes, 13-minute synopsis. That was my 10-minute, for anyone that knows BNI, that was my 10-minute presentation. So if there are any questions, please feel free. Bring them to me now. Thanks. Cheers, Pulkit. Sorry.
Thanks a lot, Neil, for sharing this amazing introduction. And BNI does help. It has helped me a lot. But not diving too much over that side, I do have a question that's very specific to networking. But I would like to, discuss on something that you just said at the starting, appreciating the small things. as small as we are breathing right now. We both are sitting in front of each other over our systems and talking and recording this podcast. We're not appreciating this. A lot of people don't have this privilege. And we keep, you know, complaining about, whining about things that are not happening to us. So, what is yours? Because it's never enough. You always are wanting more. You get one thing, you're wanting more. You don't appreciate it. The culture for slogging is ingrained in our minds to an extent where even winning a contract worth 100 crores or probably $100 million doesn't seem to satisfy anyone. Even after that, you need to go for the next milestone. That's $1 billion. So, how do you really look at things from that perspective, from that angle?
There are so many things that I could dwell on there, but I had a very good conversation with a client. I've got some beautiful clients. I choose my clients. My clients don't choose me. And he was saying, oh, I've got this problem and I've got that problem. And I turned around to it and it was cash flow, right? So I turned around to him and I went, do you think that Richard Branson's got these problems? And he's like, no. I went, are you serious? I said, let me explain something to you. His problems are bigger than your problems monetarily. So that's the first thing that I'd like to talk about. Every single one of us, in inverted commas, have problems.
Yep.
You know, as cheery as I am, we all have a choice, Pulkit. I wake up every single morning, and it's what you turned around and said. If you sit and think about, I'm not God fearing in any shape or form, I'm not religious, but what a miracle. Check this out, right? What a miracle we have going on right here. Okay. We're both breathing.
Yep.
Okay. Um, you're on one side of the world. I'm on another side of the world. We were introduced by another beautiful human being that came into our realm in Tommy, right?
Yep.
Big shout out for Tommy because he's a lovely boy. So my mother, who I said I'd refer to quite a lot, she has a beautiful saying: you can always bend down and pick up nothing, Pulkit. Now it's quite profound. You can always bend down and pick up nothing. So for me, if I'm bending down, I may as well. If I'm going to bend down and there's another human being there, I don't care what color, creed, race, or religion they are. I'm going to help them up. If they need food, I'm going to put food in their mouth. If they need a hug, I'm going to give them a hug. I'm quite a huggy, tactile human being. So going back to the crux of the matter, which was it's an attitude. It's an absolute attitude. And I get accused of smiling all the time. Oh, you're always smiling, Neil. You're always smiling. And I look at those people who are normally the drains of the world, the negative human beings that make the world go round as much as the positive. And I reply to them, what's the alternative? Do you want me to walk around with my face down to the ground, moaning, not smiling? Because that's not who I want to be. So it's the choices, it's the attitude. And for us to turn around, and you said it before, I'm fortunate enough, I live in a beautiful place, it's green, and I can walk along and I live by a canal. Right now, check this out, if I stop for a second, I can hear that we've got a waterfall outside and I can hear the water flowing. I've got a clean glass of water. Huh? Let me go even further. I've got a glass for the water to go in. And it's simple things like that. Right? Do I behave and think like every other human being when negativity comes in? You're damn right I do. But you can combat it by turning around and going, I'm alive, I'm breathing. I've still got my parents. I've still got my brother, thank God. I've still got good friends that call me. All right, a good friend. All right, I haven't got any friends, but these are the. Do you know what? Speaking about that, tonight I'm going to see friends for dinner. Tomorrow night I'm going to see friends for dinner, and Sunday I'm taking my mum and dad out for lunch. If you can't find solace in the good in life, you're wasted. This isn't a rehearsal, Pulkit.
Yep.
And you said it before. I'm sitting at the age of 53 years old. I'm going to go deep here. I know enough people that didn't get to my age who I knew, loved, and trusted. I'm living for them. I'm pushing for them. I'm coaching for them. because they put saying into me, every single person you get gives you something. Your choice whether you take it or not. So
Mm,
it's a gratitude. Gratitude is an attitude.
wow, well, that's something I'm going to hold on to. Gratitude is an attitude. Um,
It's true though. Check this out, right? This. I have this behind me,
yeah,
okay? And I look at this, and it's a tree. Now that could have been printed in black and white. Would it have been as beautiful?
obviously,
Well, it would have been to some people, but to me, the colour signifies all the different things that are going on. It's not green, they're not green leaves, they're different coloured leaves. That's that for me could be looked into differently. That's humanity. That's a
yeah,
tree. That's a pair of lungs.
obviously.
So it's how you look at it. It's how you look at it. So I'm going to leave you with this one again. Gratitude is an attitude. You
Wow.
can use that one. I'll give you that one. That's not a problem.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Neil, you mentioned about your brother's story and you were on your way to sign a very important contract. You mentioned about that. In today's world, and I'm assuming that was probably around some half a decade back. I'm sorry, I'm not getting the exact timeline, but it was around 10 or 15 years back, right? When that particular incident happened. If I even talk today, there is not that awareness available at workplaces. Because even though it's a family business, it's still a workplace. And there are not awareness drives being done. Corporates are not taking it so seriously that employees need to be sensitized about reaching out and helping the person in need going through emotional breakdown. At a later stage, we might, evolve and make it a breakthrough. But in that very moment, we need somebody to hold us, somebody to listen to us. I am watching this awesome series called The Good Doctor on Amazon Prime, and the protagonist has autism. Now, over there as well, a lot of times there have been instances shown where while he is being blamed, or he is being said that you don't know how to communicate, but I have a different perspective to it. Do people know how to communicate with him? So
My grandfather always said to me, don't treat people the way that you want to be treated. Treat them the way that they want to be treated.
yep.
Treat them the way that they want to be treated. And I've always, I have, again, I'm fortunate enough that I've had these people before me to teach me what it is. And it's a beautiful saying. And people will say, treat me the way that I want to be treated. Well, one second, right? You might not want to be treated as well as I do or as badly as I do. So you have to find out about the human being. And going back to what you're talking about, social media is playing a massive, massive part in this for the good. For the good. Mental health is still a stigma, especially in males. One of the reasons that I do what I do, Pulkit, is 84 men in the UK decide to say goodbye in a month. Sorry, in a week. 84 men in the UK decide to say goodbye in the week. If I can make that 83 or 82, then I've achieved. Now, what needs to happen is the people that are talking about mental health, all the stars. So you have this Simone Biles, who has just been in the Olympics.
Yep.
Okay, we have a young, we have a very very young 15-year-old diver who won a bronze in the diving, in the
Hmm.
synchronized diving. She came sixth in the solo. And when they interviewed her, one of her comments was, "I can't believe I'm here because 3 years ago I didn't want to be." Right now, the Robin Williams of the world that put a mask on, you know, for all those years, one of the funniest men that ever breathed. But the torment that he was going through. We have someone here called Stephen Fry. I don't know whether you know who Stephen Fry is. A
No,
very, very
just heard
clever
them.
witted, a very, very clever witted comedian, columnist, just a fantastic guy. Again, I'm going to say come out. And it's kind of almost like that until more people come out, the sportsmen come out. Enough sportsmen have turned around and went, I can't handle this. I've got to step away.
Yep.
Now, the stigma on it 10, 15 years ago was what I replied back to what I was saying was, come on, pull yourself together. Now, in the UK, I don't know about India, but in the UK, if you Google men's help group, there is one half an hour away, 20 minutes away, wherever you are. So on that level, it's understood. Now, on the corporate level, if the corporates, and it's proven, if the corporates start looking after their staff, i.e. listening to them, doing a 6 week to a month check-in, how you doing? Everything all right? It's not just about business.
Yep.
How you doing at home? How's this? How's that? If they allow people the platform, which is what I do for a living,
Mm-hmm.
if they allow people that platform, they're going to go miles. Their brand, I think it was Richard Branson who said, look after your staff more than you look after your clients.
That's
Now, if
important.
Richard Branson says something like that, right, the
Yep.
likes of Google and Microsoft, I know for a fact, they're having people like us come in, right? Because they understand the power of it. And it's going back down to the family run businesses, the smaller businesses with the 5 or 6 people in it, or again, that one man band, because that one man band sits there all by himself in the arena getting shot at
Mm-hmm.
every
Mm-hmm.
single day. Because that one man band doesn't just do what they love doing, they have to do everything else that's surrounded to running this business.
Yep.
We have to look at looking after everyone when it comes to business because it's a very lonely place. And as I was saying, when we decide as nutcases to start our own businesses, I mean, you've got to. There's something's got to be wrong with you if you run your own business. Yeah, I'm unemployable. But when we start doing that, we don't realise that it's not just what we love doing that we've got to do, but we've got to do the accountancy. We've got to go buy the tea bags. We've got to clean the toilets. We've got to go and have the meetings. We've got to be up late nights. We've got to do the Excel spreadsheet. We didn't sign up for that.
Yep.
But what I love to do, what I love doing is getting in people's minds. This week, to end my week, at the beginning of the week, I send a text out to all of my clients saying, "Hope you had a lovely weekend. What are you going to smash this week?" And at the end of the week, every single text has been sent out already. Hope you've had a great week. What have you won at this week? And the responses, some people I got through the week. Some people are on holiday. Some people, £732,000 contract. So business and mental health used to be looked at old school, which is pull yourself together. On the contrary, if you're not looking after the biggest muscle in your body, it won't look after you.
Yep.
It's quite simple. So I think what needs to happen, a long-winded answer, was social media needs to keep playing out, Pulkit, and telling us that there are people out there struggling and how they get on with it.
Neil, I'm just gonna be a devil's advocate over here a bit in continuation to this question. While before asking, I do understand the sensitive nature of emotional health, but what are your thoughts? Do you think the awareness with emotional health that's coming around, a lot of people are, or this awareness is somewhere or the other becoming a deterrent in a lot of people's growth instead of understanding it, working on it, and evolving from it? A lot of people are using it, probably, I'm not sure if excuse is the right word, but are not able to go beyond it. So, what are your thoughts on this?
Beyond, sorry, I didn't get the first part. Beyond what? Sorry.
Beyond the emotional struggles that they have. So, I will tell you the place where I'm
Okay,
coming.
okay. Sorry, I just missed a little. Right, okay. Fall down 7 times, get up 8 times.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's a saying. I think it was Winston Churchill. If you're going through hell, keep on going. I'm full of quotes here, right? Because that's what I love. I'm dyslexic. So for me, short and sharp. I'm going to say that again. If you're going through hell, keep on going. And coming back to it, this life is not easy.
Yep.
We've all got worries. We've all got problems. We've all got stuff that we need to be dealing with, right?
Yep.
So for me, I saw something, and I speak to my clients quite a lot, and I allow this. Let me give you a gift here, right? It's called a pity party. Have you ever heard of a pity party before?
I've heard about it, but would love to
Right.
understand.
Okay. Right. So what I allow my clients who are moaning, they're allowed to. They're alive. They're allowed to. They're allowed to moan. Right. Okay. This is what I want you to do. I want you to take a piece of paper. I want you to take a pen, and I want you to give yourself 15 minutes maximum by yourself. Maximum by yourself. And they're like, okay, what do you want me to do? I went, right. I want you to take, and some of the young ones, Tara said, sorry, what's a piece of paper and a pen? But I explained to them, it's old school, it's an instrument, it's got ink in it, it's brilliant. So I asked them to write it down physically. So when they're writing it, it's coming from here all the way down into the heart, into the body, and it's flowing onto the page. And what they're doing is they're getting rid, I'm asking them, they don't know yet, I'm asking them to get rid of everything that's up here that's holding them back. When they've done that, I want them to read it. I want them to read it quite a few times so it sinks in. Okay? These are the things that are holding you back. These are the things that are aggravating you. Then what I want you to do is I want you to roll it up, take it outside and burn it and watch it burn. Literally burn it and watch it burn. I ask my clients to have a milk bottle. They put it in the top of the milk bottle, they burn it and they watch it burn. What's the mindset behind that, Pulkit? What have you just done? What have you done?
You just flush your problems out.
Off you go. Now, if you want to hold on to them, that's the choices. But for me, as soon as I do that, this one's aggravating me, that one's aggravating me, this one hasn't paid, I can't get over the line here. Oh, I'm not feeling great about that. I can't remember the last time I did it because I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place. But it works. It's a visual. So for anyone that's sitting there dwelling in their own pity, write it down on a piece of paper, take 15 minutes, read it, let it sink in, go outside and burn it and watch it burn. And then carry on with the rest of your life, which is really, really good place to be. So that's the mindset. That's the mindset. And we talk about positive mental attitude, right? Compared to negative mental attitude. The negative, check this out. I don't know if you know what's going on in England at the moment, but we have a real problem with race, colour. People can't decide what they're rioting about. Okay, it's a mindset. As soon as you get someone sitting there thinking about it, it's a mindset, and it aggravates them. And I'm going to guarantee something to everyone listening, or to all one of those people listening. My mum's going to listen to this afterwards. So, Mum, this is for you, right? Hate doesn't win. Love will always win. And the same applies with upstairs. Stop telling yourself off and telling yourself that you love yourself. Stop telling yourself you can't do it and instead tell yourself that you can do it. Stop putting barriers up. Go round the barrier. You don't have to go over it. You know what? If there's a crack in the barrier, go through that crack as well. Water's a phenomenal thing. Because when water flows, whatever in its way, guess what happens, Pulkit?
The water finds
It doesn't stop.
Yes.
It doesn't stop, does it?
No.
And the same applies to us. Let your thoughts free. And you know what? This is a lot of self-work that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact every single morning when I wake up, there's a little bit of meditation that goes on. It took me ages to work out how to do it because I wasn't at peace with myself. But there's meditation that goes on. I do a little bit of reading in the morning. I cuddle my dog. I go for a walk. All this is to fuel myself. I drink water. This is my favourite drink. I drink water. Why? There's nothing purer than that, is there?
Yep.
So it's what you put it in, physically and mentally.
That's true.
And I'm going to go back to it as well. What's happening in this country at the moment is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Because for me, it doesn't matter what colour, creed, race or religion you are. If you're not a good person, you're not a good person, right? So all this colour, creed, race, and religion. Let me tell you something, Pulkit. I posted something on social media the other day. If you cut yourself, answer this for me. You and I are different colours. If
Yep.
anyone hasn't noticed, we're different colours, right? If you cut yourself, what colour is your blood?
Red.
Guess what? So is mine. So is mine. You know, so in answer to your question, it's what you're putting in that's important. I don't listen to it. If I don't know about something, ignorance is a choice. I'm not a very good reader. I suffer. Well, I don't suffer. I live alongside dyslexia. But if I don't understand something, guess what I'll do? I'll go and research it, and I'll go and research it from different fields, so that I haven't just got the BBC telling me what I need to be knowing. Right? The BBC are one of the biggest devil. I'm not getting started. Sorry. I was going political there. I'm going to leave that one be just in case. I don't care if I offend anyone, but you've got a choice to listen to all this exterior stuff. And you said before, it's about dealing with what you can deal with compared to what you can't deal with. Okay? Deal with what you got to deal. Deal with what's on your plate. That's what I say to people. Don't worry about everything else. Don't worry about what people think about you. Don't worry about the world going absolutely mad. Deal with what you're dealing with, what's on your plate. You eat what's there.